Hey guys, welcome back to my Wrenching with Rob channel. I'm going to try something a little new today in that we're going to hopefully use this GoPro. And I don't know if you can hear me or not. I don't even know if I can see it in the camera. I'm a little bit new to this video thing. Usually Tracy's the one shooting the whole shebang here. But today I'm going to try it with the camera because I'm sure that you're tired of hearing me talk all the time, and here I'm talking. So anyway, I think in one of my last videos we talked about this little 86 Honda Trax 250, I think it is, that had no spark and no compression. So as you can see, this by this new spark plug lead and old spark plug thing here and fancy orange Go Faster coil, we have actually got it to spark now. It took all the wires apart, if you can see this in the frame of view, because it seemed like this CDI box down here, which is also Go Fast Orange, wasn't getting the proper volts and freaks and sparks like it was supposed to, and making this thing here not do its job and just pretty much being dead. So some of our problem has been resolved. It's not the strongest spark in the world, but it's close enough. So now we have to address the compression issue. So we either have an issue with this compression release thingy here on the side, because according to some of the other folks that have worked on these things, their YouTube videos are saying they're like 180 some pounds on the old compression meter here, or tester, and I'm getting a little whoosh whoosh when I put my finger close to the spark plug hole, but as soon as I put it over, it doesn't do anything. So it's either out of time, it's got a big jump time. Well, out of time, jump time is probably the same thing. A valve problem, like it's not seating all the way, or they're out of adjustment, or we're going to go to the big nasty and that it is there's a hole in the piston, or the rings are really angry. So what we're going to do here is hopefully take all this upper end off and probably pull the head and look down in here and see if we can see some ultra angry. Well, first of all, we're going to see if it's in time, and we're going to pull some timing indicators out, and we're going to pull the top cover off the valves here and see if it is indeed in time. So I'll quit talking and I'll start working. So hopefully, that was my head you heard there. I don't know if you can hear me or not. It's supposed to be raining. I don't know if you can hear that in the background. And again, I'll just reiterate that this is my first time using a GoPro, so I have no idea if this is working or not. So first thing we're going to do is take off these this valve cover looking thing here. There's got a whole bunch of bolts, and they're coming out in non-standard Honda fashion here. Usually you have to twist on these things and they go snap and you think you broke it, but literally, or it actually just broke loose, not necessarily broke in. And what I'm being told is there's a couple of places in here that use these little copper washers or brass, whatever they are, and you need to put them back in the right spot. So what we're going to do is do the old blueprint here when you don't have instruction manuals, and leave the bolts where they are. Hopefully they were in the right spot before we even started all of this. But I have, getting back to the bolts, I've actually had this off before, so that's why you're not hearing the snap, crackle, pop of these typical bolts going or breaking their torque. I do like the Hondas though. Not everything comes loose with this amount of ease. You know, sometimes these bolts weld themselves in there, and you're pretty much at the mercy of the gods of threads and nuts and bolts, whether this stuff's going to come loose or not. So we're going to pull this off and find some place happy to keep it, which is going to be right there on the towel for now. And then, you know, I should really just pull this blow off tube out of the way, or we'll just put it back here. We'll probably forget to hook that up later. I think the next thing we're supposed to do is take this valve cover thing off over here. Oh, and look at that, it's not a 10 millimeter. So we'll go to the next size down, which is typically 8. See this? You guys can see this. I can't. I will not remember that thing is there. There seems to be the socket or wrench guards that take those 10 millimeters and 8 millimeters and hide them and they run. That's probably not the best place to put it anyway, so when I bump it, it goes down into, somebody put it the other day, Narnia, into another world or another dimension until you actually get lucky enough to find it, but that's a couple hours later. We're pulling off the cover here. I don't know if anybody's ever worked with small engines before, but usually these Hondas, or any of them for that matter, have a jam nut and an adjuster bolt to adjust the valves, because these things are not hydraulic valves like on a car or something like that. So that's over here. We'll get into that later, but normally they're right up here, and you just take this little cover off, you loosen the jam nut, you stick a feeler gauge in, and you make sure that the valve is closed in the first place and the rocker's not pushing it down. And then you adjust the proper spacing in there, or what's the word I'm looking for, the clearance. And if you don't have that correctly, it will either hold the valve open or never let it seat, or it'll open it late and it'll start chattering. So this one has some funky weird stuff that I've never seen on the side, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on that, figure out how all that craziness works. But now we're going to pull off. Look at, I'm smart this time. I'm going to put it back where I got it from. And where did I put that? Look at that, I remembered. Now we're going to pull off these other bolts. I think this one here, that one had some pretty good tension on it. It didn't break though. It didn't make the old snap, crackle, pop like a lot of them do, but we're gonna loosen that up right there. This up. Some of this I'm sure I'll fast forward because it probably gets a little old and stupid after a while. And this thing's pretty old. At this point, we're probably to the point of where really all we're doing is just finding out what's wrong with it, because I don't think the customer really wants to put it back together, but I'd like to see what's really going on with it. We might fast forward it and it might be a lot of blah 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 blah, so bear with me. Okay, let's put all that good stuff out of the way and we'll see if this apparatus comes off. Maybe there's more bolts that I'm missing here. Let me get up in there. Sorry if I block you off. Let's see. Something is supposed to let all this happiness go and just come off. I'm assuming nothing ever just comes off though. Maybe there's something down here. I don't know. Oh, look at that. I think it's loose. This should be the, like what we call the rocker box. Oh, look at that. There it is. Awesome. So let's put that off in a nice clean spot. If you want to see what it looks like on the bottom, that's what it looks like. That's the, like what we would call in a truck, a cam followers, and then this is where your rockers would touch the tops of the valves here. So we'll set that off here where it can get nice and dirty. And now we're going to have to take out, you probably can't see this, but there's a little plug on the side of the crankcase here that you turn the flywheel over, or whatever you want to call it, probably the stator with the magnet in it and all that stuff, until it reads top dead center. And then there's some lines over here and some dots, and hopefully all of that's in time. So, oh, I think my phone's ringing. I'll have to bring you back. Oh, we got somebody at the door. Maybe we got some parts. So I'll bring you back when we get all that open. Actually, no, we'll just keep going. I'll have to find a screwdriver though. I don't think I have one out here. Yeah, give me a minute. We'll set this all up. Like I said, I think I'll just bring you back when I get it a little bit further apart. So, okay, so I've taken the human starter off here, and that way I can make the spinner go around by hand and not overshoot the place where I want to stop. There's a little hole right here Well, you can't see that, I'm sorry. And I'd move it around. Actually, I should move it around. I think I'll pick up the camera here and show you what I've got going on here. But I'm trying to verify that the timing hasn't jumped. It looks like the tensioner's still in there. I got my illuminator here because it's starting to get dark out here due to the fact that the sun just is hiding behind or up there. The clouds are kind of making us. It's supposed to be raining. Anyway, hopefully we'll edit all this out because I'm rambling. Anyway, I'm going to pick up the camera. It's going to get a little wobbly here, and I'm going to show you what we got going on. So, what we're looking at is down here in this timing hole is some marks. Maybe you can see that, maybe you can't, but it says T, and that little pointer should be lined up. So now we're going to go back over here. All up in here, as you can see, the camshaft, the chain, there's the plastic tensioner there on the forward. Now we'll go over to the other side and we'll look at it and see if it's still in time. So, all right, getting close here. So now, still have the tripod attached. So, okay, now up here, let's get our illuminator. If you can see that, there's a line right there on the front of that camshaft. And then, oh, I have too many things in the way. Let's see if we can see it from the top. Okay, you see that? This here hole that I'm kind of covering up right there? That little hole by itself? Alright, so that's supposed to be up. And if we can get the illuminator back down, that line I just showed you is supposed to be flush with the top of the head. So that to me tells me that it is in time. So let's get you back up. So I got you put back in the stand here. The next step is, now that we know it's in time, is we're going to have to take the tensioner loose here so that we can take the chain off of the camshaft. The timing chain, we'll have to take out all of this, the carburetor and the exhaust. I'm going to pull the head, and we're going to see if it is actually, if there's a hole in it or what's going on. Carburetor's pretty unhappy anyway, so we're going to come down here and take the tensioner loose, and like I said, the exhaust. And when we get to that point to where I'm loosening up the bolts and all that, I'll bring you back. So we'll see you in a few.
Really just fast forward this one, so I'll just go real quick.
Okay, so I did some things off camera because otherwise it'd be pretty boring. So we've got the head loose, and you're wondering why this little jumper wire is up here. It has nothing to do with electrical. I'm really just holding the cam chain so that it doesn't go into the deep dark abyss. The one problem I am fighting, and I tried to do this as much as I could off camera, is the exhaust pipe, of course, will not separate itself or liberate itself from the back end here. But maybe I can maneuverate it around a little bit, and maybe we can get lucky. And then I can, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. But we're trying to extricate the head here. Hopefully we will see here what the big mystery secret is about this whole monster, whether it's got a hole in the piston or a valve that's super fussy or what. So I'm trying not to bump you, and we'll go from there. We're almost there, folks. We're almost there. We got just a little bit more head bolt to go here, but that pesky exhaust just won't. I can't get it to separate from the muffler, so I'm hoping that I can just kind of rock it up and out some, but it's yeah, it's whoop. Hopefully you guys can still see. Looks like it. So what we're going to try to do is, maybe I missed a bolt or something somewhere, and that's why it doesn't want to set itself free from its resting point here. Now I suppose it's stuck in its home. Whoop. I gotta stop bumping you guys or you'll never be able to see anything. I'm pretty clumsy. We're almost there. I might have to do some fancy maneuvering here. I thought we were gonna make it happen, but it's looking not too good. Let me see if I can fight this exhaust and we'll bring it back. Okay, so as you can see here, the exhaust pipe lost the battle. We extricated it, and you guys are about to see exactly what's going on here as I am. So we'll hold up our makeshift wire tie because I was too lazy to go get a piece of wire, and off with its head. Yeah, that's pretty lame. So anyway, here comes the head. Maybe we'll put this guy to the side after we get our makeshift. And look at that, no hole. So let's put him off to the side. Actually, we'll flip him over. Let's see if maybe there's a bad valve or something. Whoop, there went a ring. Yeah, that valve doesn't look right. It doesn't look like it's seating. I don't know if you can see that or not, but right around in there, let's get the old illuminator. That valve doesn't look right at all. So something's not happy. The intake looks fine, but the exhaust just doesn't look, it don't look right. So anyway, this thing was stuck when we first got into it. So it still could have some angry valve issues going on here. We're not real concerned with its final outcome. It's more or less I just want to see what we find in here, because I'm afraid that it's going to be a lost cause. Either way it is in 86. It's not really worth much anyway. But let's rotate the motor carefully, as we do have the cam. We can't go that way with it. Wanted to see what that piston looks like, but anyway, let's see if we can't gently persuade the jug off, wherever my beater is. Where's my beater? Oh, it's on your side. I thought we were going to see a smoking gun for sure, because this thing had zero compression, and I thought for sure that thing. I'll tell you what, yeah, I can't even go there. There is definitely an indentation on the top of that piston. So my guess is it's had contact for sure with a valve or something. So let's see if we can't gently persuade this jug off, and we'll see if I'll probably bring you back when I can start pulling it up. So give me a few. We'll see in a minute. Okay, so we managed to break the head loose, or excuse me, the head's off the jug, and I gotta tell you, actually I don't want to tell you how I did it. So we'll just pull it off and pretend I did it the right way. But like I said, this thing is not the happiest camper in the world anyway, and we don't expect a lot of results out of it, so it might have had something to do with this red handle thing right here. So we're gonna just give it a little gentle up. I don't think the jug is too happy in the first place on this monster, as it's not cooperating very well, but it is moving. There we go. I think we're almost there. So it seems to be setting itself free. Probably should have put the piston a little bit down further instead of top dead center, but it's almost, oh yeah, we're gonna have to do a little rotation on her a little bit here. This probably will make it very, very angry, but let's use tools. We'll just persuade it. Wow, she's not very happy right now. I think it might have something to do with that chain there, but let's see if we can get her to turn backwards. There it go. Something let loose. Whether it's the piston or the, I don't know what it was. But it is, we're almost there. We'll just keep working her a little bit more. Oh, there we go. Something just fell out. Is that important? Looks like a little sleeve guy. We'll put him with the head bolts. I think we're there. I guess we still have to fight this guy here. And once we get her loose and apart, we'll look at that jug. Man, don't look too bad. Piston looks like it's still in there, but man, I tell you, there's some angriness on top of it. I don't know if you can see that. We'll put the illuminator on there. Ooh. Well, on second thought, it's damn sure seen its better days. Maybe a little hone might fix it up. It's been stuck for a while. So we'll pull the piston out. I'll bring you back. We'll show you that. And that'll probably be the end of it for today. Okay, so we got it apart and on the old ventilator here. And I've cleaned it up with the Go Fast wire brush. And it still doesn't look to me like that exhaust valve is seating like it should, so we'll probably pop it out of there. I'm looking at the pistonator here, and I don't know if the light's crappy or not. Well, I guess, because I've never taken one of these apart, that indentation there on the exhaust side is supposed to be there. I don't know, but one of the things I did find, we'll try to put this light where it makes it the worst possible for you, because that's what trouble lights do. That's why they call them trouble, I think, because they make you mad. Anyway, I'm trying to get this thing. If you notice, this ring on this side is out like it should, but on this side, when I push on them, that does not move in the least bit. So the rings seem to be a little seized up there. We're gonna bust them loose, but the piston, I think will be okay. I don't see anything broke. They're just stuck right now. They're not all crusted up. The jug's not the greatest. I think we can run a little light hone through it, and maybe we can bring this thing back to life. It's got spark now. Wow, I don't know if you could see that. Maybe that's just oil or dirty, nasty stuff in there, but you know, for as old as this thing, and this piston don't look all that bad. Maybe it had some work on it at one time. But like I said, this is just kind of a fun project. Guy said, see if you can get it going. And it's had some problems with the sparker on it, and it wasn't sparking, obviously, because it either works or it doesn't. We got it to spark now, but it isn't making compression. So I think we found the problem with either this valve here is not, there it is, that light again, is not working, or we definitely have a problem with the pistons, or excuse me, the piston rings. So we'll work on them and get them freed up, and then we'll put it all back together and see if it makes bang. So the other stuff that we've got going on, excuse the mess, because the doors are shut and it's raining outside, so I'm going to go clean up all my mess here and all my tools and make sure all my nuts and bolts and screws and things are in the right place so I can find them later on and potentially probably lose them. Is on the 87, we're swapping the intake manifolds from the original engine to the junkyard purchased theoretical rebuilt engine. I'm hoping it's rebuilt because I see this, let's tip you up a little bit, this little thing right here, I believe that's a rebuild emblem or something like that. And then there's another one back here right there. So we're going to put this intake and exhaust manifold assembly, I guess it's really not assembly because you can take them apart, and that Weber carburetor on. We took off this one over here, and it's an actual header. You can kind of see that splayed out there on the floor because it tipped over and went boom, and I haven't really picked it up. So we've got an intake and exhaust manifold gasket set. We're going to put it on here, and then we'll probably start putting the accessories together on it. And the running gear will pretty much be ready to go. Got a couple of little things to do to it, like axle seals on the rear, one tie rod assembly up here in the front that's kind of, well, it's shot. It's definitely shot. And then the body over here is getting its own little love and attention because, believe it or not, there was a whole pile of Bondo in there. Yeah, nobody's ever heard of that before. I guess it must have came from up north somewhere where rust is very prevalent and likes to take things out. We'll do a little snapshotter of some of the fun stuff here. So yeah, we've got some real fun going on there. This side isn't quite as bad as the other side. Hopefully the light's okay. We'll go over there and check that out. Oh yeah, by the way, I got the steering wheel in the on the 46. I have to take it back apart, unfortunately, because I forgot a snap ring in there, and although I don't need it, it bothers me that I forgot to put it in. But yep, got the new steering wheel kind of temporary on there because I wanted to see it move the pitman arm. So yeah, that's kind of cool. All right, let's see if we can still see what's going on over here. The fun part is over here on the driver's side. I'm trying not to touch it because my paws. Let's get a little light on it. Let's get our happy trouble light here. Yeah, illumination. We'll put it off to the side a little bit so it's not so shiny. Yeah, so you can see all that goodness right there. So I think somebody started to fix this at one time and then got tired of it because you can see some tacks in there. And believe me, we took off about a pound of Bondo already. So it looks like they tried to kind of start and then they gave up on it. You can see down here, here's some real angriness. And then we get to the really fun, good part. Yeah, folks, that's spray foam. Somebody has spray foamed in there and Bondoed right over the top of it. And that would probably last about a day out in the weather before it started rearing its ugly head through the paint. Unfortunately, that's the kind of stuff you have to watch out for. There's probably all kinds of fun areas in here that are very, very similar to this greatness right there. Yeah, spray foam. Anyway, I'm babbling enough. We'll cut this up and edit it. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me, and if you stuck with me this long, hopefully we edit it down to 15-20 minutes, maybe less, and you laughed at it, and some of you folks are probably looking at it going, what in the world is this guy doing? He is making a mockery of mechanics, but it's kind of fun with me. I enjoy it. Keeps me busy on a rainy Saturday afternoon. So thank you. If you like this, like, share, subscribe. and we'll do something again. Thanks for hanging out with Wrenching with Rob.